From inside the barrel of Harry Callahan's 44 Magnum, it's the IGN Digigods. Please welcome two men who will go ahead and make your day, Wade Major and Mark Kaiser.
So I have already optioned the movie rights to the disappearance of that Malaysian plane.
Really?
I've done it. They're cheap right now because no one knows what's going to happen.
It's
bargain.
Will the film star Courtney Love?
I'm sorry, that joke went right past me. Would you?
You didn't hear that?
No.
So Courtney Love, the lead singer of Hole and the ex-wife of Kurt Cobain.
Sure. Oscar nominee Courtney Love. Yes.
3 6 Mafia.
Yes.
She claims that she knows what happened to the plane.
Really?
Yes.
She does?
Yes. She actually, there was a photograph that she took of like this big expanse of ocean, and she hand drew the words plane with an arrow and oil slick with an arrow because she's figured it out.
Well, good for her. That's outstanding.
She's a genius.
That's a wonderful thing.
It is.
Wow. So, Oswald Morris died.
Yes, the famed cinematographer.
It's funny because my good friend Jeff Briggs, he posted on his Facebook page exactly the same conversation that I've had with so many people, which is when you subtract Jeffrey Unsworth and John Alcott, who died prematurely because Kubrick drove them both crazy, famous British DPs all lived to be ridiculously old. Like all of them. If you go straight through Oswald Morris and the Red Shoes guy.
Steve Jones.
Yes, exactly. And Freddie Young. I mean, they all live in their 90s. And Doug Slocum is 101.
Oh.
The guy who shot Raiders of the Lost Ark. He's 101 years old.
Still around.
Still around.
Jack Cardiff, by the way.
Jack Cardiff, thank you. I mean, it's like they all live to be in their 90s. And there's like 10 of them. You know, it's like this group of 10 who were just huge cinematographers from pretty much the 40s through the 60s. Even into the 70s, Oswald Morris, Fiddler on the Roof, of course, and they don't die.
Do you know?
It's amazing. Being a British DP is the secret to longevity. But don't work with Kubrick. But that's not a problem anymore because Kubrick's not available to work with.
What?
I know, right?
Fluh.
Yeah.
So Wade, what would you like to eat this week? Now, here's the
we just had pizza. We just fed 6 people pizza at our house.
I have 3 things. You can choose 2. One you will have this week, and one you will have next week.
Okay.
Here's what I have.
Yes.
I have.
That's what I want.
I have Snickerdoodle cookies.
Ooh.
I have. The Snickerdoodle cookies.
Yes.
Now I was bored.
Okay.
Had a couple hours to kill.
Mm-hmm.
And the good thing about having baking stuff on hand at home is that you can say, you know what, I got a couple hours to kill.
Of course.
I think I'll make a batch of cookies for no reason.
Why not?
So I took pretty much the worst cookie recipe book I have.
Of course you did.
Which is a Martha Stewart cookie book, which is terrible. Yeah. And I found something simple. I changed the white sugar to muscovado sugar, so it's a little bit moister, right? It's kind of a moister, sweeter sugar.
Sure.
And I made Snickerdoodle cookies.
Of course.
You can have that. You can have, from David Leibowitz's awesome Perfect Scoop ice cream recipe cookbook, you can have his chocolate sorbet.
Right.
Or you can have a Swiss roll.
Hold on
just a moment. I just picked up a fault.
There we go. I just had to fix the mic.
So Snickerdoodle cookies.
Yes.
Chocolate sorbet.
Right.
Or a chocolate Swiss roll. It has like a sponge cake with buttercream filling and chocolate on top.
I think I'm going to go with the Snickerdoodle cookie.
How many would you like? They're about this big.
I don't know, like 2.
2?
Okay, whatever. 3.
No, I know. I like them. I'm giving you 2.
All right, fine.
And the next week you can have either the ice cream or the Swiss roll thing.
Sure.
You say that, then you're going to try it, you're going to love it, you'll be like, oh, this is great.
Let's rock it.
Okay, so what are we talking about while I go get the cookies?
Well, while you go get the cookies, I'm going to talk about, we have a giveaway this week.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah. We do. It's fantastic.
You know what? I'll be right back.
Okay. Yes, we do. In fact, we have a giveaway this week of the movie Angels in Stardust, starring Alicia Silverstone, A.J. Michalka, and Billy Burke, which releases on March 25th. And we are not going to be talking about it until it releases. But we have 3 copies for giveaway. And if Angels in Stardust, starring Alicia Silverstone, A.J. Michalka, and Billy Burke, interests you, then by all means, go ahead and send us an email to gods@digigods.com. It should be time-stamped and date-stamped no later than Saturday the 22nd. So we're going to extend this because we're a little bit late this week with the show. Saturday the 22nd. As long as it's to us by Saturday the 22nd, send us an email. We'll randomly pick 3 people to win a DVD copy of Angels in Stardust, courtesy of the good people at Katrina Wan PR, who've been very kind to make this available to us. And if you want to know a little bit more about it, it's written and directed by William Robert Carey. And it's about a young teenager with big dreams living in a desolate, gritty little town. And the townspeople and her own mother, played by Alicia Silverstone, barely pay attention to her. But she finds solace from a mystical cowboy and a former enemy. Sounds like a pretty interesting movie. We haven't looked at it yet, but we have a copy of it, and we want to get copies to you guys. So 3 copies are available of that. Go ahead, send us an email to gods@digigods.com and put Angels in the subject line. Angels in the subject line, gods@digigods.com. If we get it by the 22nd of March, then we will draw 3 names randomly, and you will hopefully be a winner. And now that I have relayed that, Mark is back with my Snickerdoodles.
This is Snickerdoodle cookies from a Martha Stewart cookbook.
We also thank you. We also have a Vox box this week. No, not yet. And we got some listener mail that we're going to do by the middle of the show. So hang on, I'm going to take a bite first.
Well, what are we talking about? We have a bunch of DVDs here and Blu-rays.
We're going to start the show by talking about the best DVD that I've gotten all week.
Now, Wade, you're saying nothing about the cookies.
Cookies, good.
Hang on. I'm noticing, is there anything you'd like to say about the cookies?
No.
I mean, good, not good, chewy.
No, it's really good.
Dry, terrible, too sweet.
They're moist. They're spongy.
You would tell me if they're not good. You've told me
Correct.
before.
No, they're moist. They're spongy. And it makes me want to have some ice cream.
I have chocolate sorbet.
No. Chocolate should be ice cream. There should be
no.
chocolate
This chocolate sorbet is so good. It is so chocolatey. Okay, you know what? Because you've been a bad boy by making fun of my sorbet, I'm going to make you eat some of my sorbet.
Okay.
And you're going to love it.
Fine.
I'm going to go get some.
Okay, look.
Now talk about that crap.
Best DVD I've gotten all week. What is it, Mark?
I don't care. Because now I got to go get you some sorbet.
Okay, fine.
Which means next week, you've got to eat the Swiss roll.
Best DVD I've gotten all week is My Birthday Party, Peppa Pig. This is, to my knowledge, and I've looked into this, and I'm rather new to the world of Peppa Pig, obviously, because I have a 1-year-old daughter. But she loves Peppa Pig. Peppa Pig is the most popular thing in our house. If you haven't seen it, it is a British animated show. It airs on Nick Jr., and it started in 2004, ran through like 2010 or 2011, 6 or 7 seasons. There are over 100 episodes, 120, 130 some odd episodes. They're very short little episodes. They call them Peppisodes. Very short. They're like, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 minutes apiece. And it's really, really sweet. Peppa, of course, is a little pig. She has a little brother, George, who has a dinosaur. Dinosaur, Mr. Dinosaur. And then there's Mommy Pig and Daddy Pig. And all of her friends, like Susie Sheep and, Danny Dog. And they are just really, really fun stories. They're great for little kids. But the best thing I love about this is, first of all, they're mellow. This is why my daughter gets to watch them, because nobody screams at anybody else in these things. Everyone is very well behaved. They're all very proper and very English, and they're all very well mannered. And great little lessons, but it's written in that same vein that you got with Rocky and Bullwinkle and all the Jay Ward stuff, where adults find a completely different level. Incredibly funny and entertaining. We laugh all the time. Mark will never understand some of the references. But I'll tell you, Mark, even though he doesn't know it, he also loves jumping up and down in muddy puddles. Yes, he does. So with that, Peppa Pig, My Birthday Party. This is 14 Peppisodes, about 80 minutes worth. And there's just great stuff. It's really, really fun. And even though it's a DVD, looking at looking at it on an upconverting Blu-ray player looks fantastic, man.
This is
a really good.
This show
really
is
good
an hour long, and you have now spent 5 minutes talking about the stupid Buppy Pipple show.
Because you've been getting me. Oh, okay.
I dare you.
All right.
I dare you to not like that sorbet.
All right, I'll do that. Go ahead.
I'll do that. I will.
Yeah.
So the dare has been accepted.
Yeah.
I don't know why Kill Your Darlings was such a thing. Maybe because it starred...
Well, this is damn good.
Thank you.
Yeah. Wow.
See?
Okay.
Thank you very much. I don't know why Kill Your Darlings was such like a hit. Not a hit, but it got a lot of attention, probably because it was one of Daniel Radcliffe's first post-Harry Potter movies.
Well, that other dude, he's playing James Dean now.
I know.
That's what makes no sense to me at all. I like him as an actor. What's his name?
The Steve.
Yeah, no, the you know what's his name?
Who?
The other guy in the thing who plays
Dane DeHaan.
Yeah, that guy.
He's in Spider-Man.
Yeah, I know. He plays what's it in Spider-Man, right? He's the other dude. He plays the
plays
James
Goblin.
Franco, the James Franco part, right?
Goblin, right? He's Green Goblin.
Yeah, who also played James Dean. Like everyone who plays Green Goblin or Green Goblin's son, they have to be somebody who plays James Dean.
Except
bizarre. I don't get it.
Except James Dean.
Yeah, James Dean never played Green Goblin.
Anyway, that's true. Anyway, Kill Your Darlings, Radcliffe plays Allen Ginsberg. And Ben Foster, who I love, plays William Burroughs. And, it's not that this is a bad film. I just think that the film doesn't really live up to the potential considering the biographical, real-life people who are being profiled in it. Although I will say this. I would consider this better than On the Road, which is another similar kind of film. Mm-hmm. Would you not? Mm-hmm. I believe... Because you know what? There's been a bunch of films made about the beat writers, but somehow I feel like the spirit of the beat writers is yet to be captured in these new films. Maybe because they all seem a little bit safe. Films like this should be made for like $1.98 on real location, stealing shots.
So you don't think a topless Kristen Stewart captures the spirit of the beat writers?
I do not.
Okay.
Anyway, so Kill Your Darlings. It's got a good cast. It's also got Michael C. Hall, Jennifer Jason Leigh, Elizabeth Olsen, but still, ultimately, it's not. It doesn't really live up to billing. So that is Kill Your Darlings. Now, what else we have, Wade?
We have a big.
You devoured.
I'm not done yet. Put that back. Don't touch my sorbet. Big flaming fail. Mandela. Long walk to. I'm sorry. Wow. You know what? There were 2 Mandela movies last year. Winnie Mandela, which has been sitting on the shelf for a couple of years, with Jennifer Hudson as Winnie Mandela.
And you know that Jennifer Hudson thought, it's another Oscar for me.
Yeah,
I'm playing an icon.
Not a chance. And that thing was a big turd. And then the Weinstein Company released this gigantic, just sprawling, epic monstrosity with a U2 song, of course, which got an Oscar nomination. And oh my gosh, screenplay by William Nicholson. We got it nailed, man. Yeah, this is great. Justin Chadwick directed it. It's going to be another Gandhi. It's going to be great. We're, giving Idris Elba a chance to finally get an Oscar nomination.
Miscast.
Man, look, all Idris Elba did, first of all, he looks nothing like Mandela. Mandela does not look like a GQ model. No. Idris Elba is a big, screaming hunk of a man.
That guy has amazing presence. That guy is
Idris Elba
he just destroys the screen when he's on.
He is fantastic. I mean, when you look at something like Pacific Rim, he kills it, right? He kills it in Pacific Rim. I mean, he is just a presence like no other. He's a force of nature. But that being said, he's a big hunky GQ model of a man. He is. You look at Idris Elba, and he's the dude. He's just got the face, the body, the height, the whole thing. You've seen pictures of Nelson Mandela as a younger man. Okay, Nelson Mandela is not a big screaming like GQ model of a hunk of a man.
He is not.
He certainly wasn't when he was younger. I mean, that was just dreadful miscasting. And anyway, he's just so terribly miscast in this movie. It's really, really sad. Naomi Harris is okay, but wow, all he does is just he talks like this. He talks straight. He puts on the Nelson Mandela talk. That's the only thing he does. It's terrible. This movie is so turgid. It is just utterly, utterly unwatchable. So it's really too bad because it's based on The Long Walk to Freedom. By Nelson Mandela, and it should have been a better movie, but by golly, it just wasn't, and that's too bad. So, anyway, it's on Blu-ray, a bunch of special features. It's all EPK type stuff behind the scenes, and a commentary with the director, which is no big deal. But wow, I've got to tell you, it's really unfortunate. Ultraviolet on this Blu-ray as well.
Wait, Frozen is finally out on Blu-ray, and I'm going to say something controversial, which is
already sold something like 3.2 million copies in one day.
You know,
that is astronomical.
I I have to say that I was not as big a fan of this as everybody else was.
I know.
I kind of
Neither
wasn't.
was I.
You know, and by the way, Wade and I were surprised how much we like Tangled, which I think is a better film than this. It's pretty much used to the Disney formula. It's empowering for girls, and I get all that, and that's totally fine. But I just kind of feel like the characters weren't that interesting. The visuals are very striking. I like that. I just think that the characters are not that memorable or engaging.
Now I'm done. Finished.
I'm not offering you more because you made fun of it before.
Your microphone,
where's the cookie?
Your microphone's wobbling for some reason. Yeah.
We need a waiter to come here and
I know.
straighten it out.
Yeah.
Like they straighten out tables using coasters.
Yeah.
Where's your cookie? Is that gone too?
It's all gone. It's all gone. Done.
So you
Devoured.
So you like them both?
Finished.
Okay, good. Anyway, it does have that "Let It Go" song, which has become a phenomenon. Just as John Travolta, and
blah 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 blah.
I tell you, I lent my now ex-girlfriend the screener for this, and she played it probably 20 times.
Yep.
Anyway,
I know kids that have seen that movie so many times. It makes
this is the highest grossing Disney film in the history of Disney. This is it. Bigger than anything.
Bigger than The Lion King?
Bigger.
Wow.
You realize
there you go.
that?
How about that?
This is
Look, the songs are great. I love the songs. The animation's fun. But it's just not. It's no great shakes.
I just kind of feel like it's no great shakes.
No, I agree with you. I mean, a lot of wonderful extras on here. It's a fantastic looking Blu-ray, as you would expect. It's just the CGI animation. It just blows out your television screen, and it's mind-boggling how good it looks. It really is. You just go, that's the most beautiful thing I've ever seen. It doesn't matter if the movie's not that great. Deleted scenes, and they just go to the end of the earth with music video stuff. It's
the highest grossing Disney film, animated film of all time.
Digital copy on this thing too, by the way, which is the Disney proprietary digital copy, which is like neener, we're not ultraviolet, and that doesn't help. Anyway, I love the sticker that comes on the cover. It's hysterical. The way that they push their digital copy format. There's a little sticker here. It says, "Endless ways to watch with digital copy: smartphone, tablet, TV, computer." That's endless. That's how I define endless. It's like, wow. 4 things. Plus deleted scenes and tons of extras you didn't see in theaters. Do you ever see extras in theaters? Who comes? I mean, seriously, someone actually has to come up with and then approve these little stickers that plug all this crap. This is the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Anyway, moving on. Mark, you didn't like this. It was the big Oscar-nominated movie that did not win anything this year. And I know you and others, like 10 nominations, and it went 0 for 10. American Hustle. But I got to tell you, no director in history has directed his cast in 2 consecutive movies in 2 consecutive years to run the table in in those categories. You
know why? I'll tell you why.
Why?
Because one of my problems with David O. Russell is that he is very indulgent with his actors. He will let them do anything they want. They can chew up the screen. They can wear the clothes and the wig and go crazy. Woo, look at me. And he just doesn't care. And the actors branch is the largest branch.
Yes.
And they love the fact that he lets all these people run
wild.
How do you
not love those costumes? Come on, give it up for the hair and costumes.
You know what it is? Here's the thing. I thought that American Hustle was a lot of really fun individual moments that never cohese into a film.
See, I thoroughly enjoy this movie. I think it tries to cop the Scorsese style that he did, in Goodfellas and Casino, and obviously to some degree in Wolf of Wall Street, which is why I think they both got nominated. But you know what? I still thoroughly enjoyed it. It's tongue in cheek. It starts with that very 70s version of the Annapurna film logo.
I know. It's great use of the old Steely Dan song.
Yes.
Not going to be your fool, no more, whatever. It's great song that I can't remember the last time that was used in a movie.
I just thoroughly enjoyed it. I thought it was a lot of fun. It was just funny.
You went along for the ride.
I went along for the ride, and it was wild and crazy and silly. And I remember Abscam, and it has nothing to do with Abscam, but whatever. New York Film Critics gave it Best Picture, and I think that's a little extreme. But that said, I really enjoyed it. It is this gets the Blu-ray, DVD, and ultraviolet treatment, and it looks fantastic in all 3. I watched it in ultraviolet again, and it's really good ultraviolet, fantastic Blu-ray. But It has very few extras. Just a making of featurette and then deleted and extended scenes, which means, Mark,
What happened?
you're going to have to double dip. There's going to be a special edition of this thing.
Do you really think so?
Oh,
it got shut out, man. It got embarrassing.
It made a crap load of money.
How could you take your film? Actually, you know what they should do on the cover? They should tell you the amount of Oscars it won. Went from 0 Oscars.
0 for 10. Another movie that got a little bit of Oscar attention, minor Oscar attention, was The Book Thief, because it had a score by John Williams, who gets nominated if he belches on the soundtrack. That would be a great test. You make a movie, a silent movie with the lens cap on, starring Meryl Streep, and with a score by John Williams.
And they'll both be nominated.
Just black leader, and you give them both credits, and they'll get nominated. Anyway, the Book Thief is based on a book, not about not a stolen book or anything, and it is one of the soapier World War II stories of recent years, but it means to be, and it's very old-fashioned, and it's the girl who stars in it is lovely. Sophie Nélisse she's wonderful. I mean, huge career ahead of her. Jeffrey Rush and Emily Watson are wonderful as always. It's just a little bit kind of old school, I think, for most people, and that's too bad. The guy who directed it, Brian Percival, is an amazing director, and I wish it had done a little bit better, because Percival has just killed it with a number of the best episodes of Downton Abbey. I mean, he's like the next big British TV director to make the jump to features, and it's really well directed. It's a good film. It's just very old school, and I wish it had. If this had been released in like 1969, it would have been or 1967, it would have been a big film. But anyway, that said, it's very sweet. Has some wonderful special features on it, including a documentary on the film, and a bunch of featurettes and deleted scenes, and of course a great score by John Williams. Really, really good score. So give it a look. Give it a look. If you like old-fashioned World War II melodrama, you'll really vibe to this. But this Sophie Nélisse is fantastic. She's just wonderful. Yes.
Hi, Wade. Yes.
Hi. Yeah. Yeah, I'll go with this. Out of the Furnace, speaking of Christian Bale and American Hustle, Christian Bale, like Matthew McConaughey, had another role this last year. And Matthew McConaughey, of course, it was friggin' Mud, which is good. And then with Christian Bale, it's Out of the Furnace. And I got to tell you, Out of the Furnace, I was deeply disappointed. It's not that it's a bad film. It's just...
It is one of those movies where it's like, it's not a bad film, there's nothing wrong with it, but why am I not liking this?
Yeah, well, it's not that I wasn't liking it. And by the way, this is Scott Cooper's follow-up to the Jeff Bridges Oscar-winning performance in...
Crazy Heart.
In Crazy Heart. And Scott Cooper, had to sort of show that he can do something without... that he can do something else. And it's kind of, in some sense, more the same. It's another gritty, grungy,
very like
blue-collar drama,
Steel Towny thing.
Yeah, but the whole idea here is you got two brothers. Christian Bale is the older brother, and Casey Affleck's the younger brother. And while Christian Bale he's always taken the lumps for his brother. And anyway, Casey Affleck gets into these underground.
He's good.
Casey Affleck's very good. He gets into these underground boxing matches, and which leads him into kind of a very dangerous place when he gets involved with. Long story short, the other guy, the bad guy in this thing is Woody Harrelson, and Woody Harrelson plays this member of this inbred mountain clan that lives somewhere in the Appalachian part of upstate New York, and they never come down from the mountains unless they're gonna kind of shake somebody down for the money that's owed them for co-sponsoring these underground boxing matches. Anyway, Christian Bale has to save his brother. Bottom line, and I won't give anything away, but it leads him into the belly of that whole weird Appalachian crank manufacturing thing, and I was watching this and I'm thinking, I've seen The Deer Hunter deal with the blue collar part of this better, and I've seen Winter's Bone deal with the whole mountain people meth head end of this better. I'm not sure what this really tells me. I just don't know why I was invited into this world and what the point is.
If you cared about the characters, you'd care.
I guess, but it just felt like Scott Cooper wanted to do something that was super serious and dramatic, and this somehow fit the bill. But it's also kind of pointless. And Woody Harrelson, talking like he's got a mouthful of cotton and shooting drugs into his toes doesn't really do anything for me. So...
All right, Wade, we also have Reasonable Doubt. This is with Dominic Cooper and Samuel Jackson. This is a predictable and contrived and pretty horrible little thriller. Dominic Cooper plays a district attorney who flees a hit-and-run accident.
Ooh, yes.
And Samuel L. Jackson is arrested for it. And, of course, Dominic Cooper, because he's a district attorney, gets Jackson off. Now, that's...
Excuse me?
I mean, he gets Jackson off in a legal sense.
Oh, jeez.
Not in some sort of crazy, wild sexual sense.
Okay.
And the predictable potboiler mayhem ensues.
Mm-hmm.
This is not very good. This was directed by a guy who actually was using a pseudonym. This was directed by Peter Howitt, and Peter Howitt had directed Sliding Doors, the Gwyneth Paltrow, which is a pretty good Gwyneth Paltrow.
Good movie.
Good.
Yeah.
So this movie did not turn out too well. So he is going by the name of Peter P. Crudens.
Okay.
I don't know how he came up with
All
Peter
right.
P. Crudens, but that's what Peter Howitt is going by because he disliked Reasonable Doubt as much as I did.
All right.
Jamesy Boy is another predictable film. This is one of those movies about preteen juvenile delinquent gang life, and you've got this kid who comes from a broken family. He's got horrible friends. And he's already got a tracking device on his ankle because guy's got a rap sheet a mile long.
Yeah.
And just one of those movies. He winds up being scared straight thanks to this person that he meets, played by Ving Rhames. You know, it's nice to see Ving Rhames do something. It's nice to see James Woods. Always nice to see James Woods. It's got a good cast. Mary Louise Parker is in it also. The kid who plays the troubled kid, Spencer LoFranco, is fine.
Yep.
Not bad, but still, this is just a little too familiar for me, a little too predictable. Jamesy Boy didn't quite buy it.
A couple of interesting films here that got very little attention, but should have gotten more attention this last year. One from Strand called I Used to Be Darker. Stars Dara Campbell as an Irish runaway who heads to Maryland. Well, she's in Maryland already, but she's in having some trouble in Maryland, and she heads over to her aunt and uncle, who are having all kinds of family issues with their own daughter, and they're trying to, they want to get a divorce and all this kind of stuff. And it's this interesting little family drama, extended family and nuclear family, and there's nothing particularly new here, but it's really, really well acted. And Matt Porterfield, who directed it, one of the kind of sort of an indie darling, and does a good job. It's a small film. It's a slight film in many respects, but it's very nicely put together, very nicely crafted, really well acted, very honest screenplay, and definitely worth taking a look at. It has some deleted scenes and some music videos, an interview with Porterfield. And it's on DVD, should be on Blu-ray as well. It's very nicely shot, unfortunately isn't. And then Reaching for the Moon, highly recommended. This is from Wolf, who typically handles a lot of gay-themed material, which oftentimes gets marginalized. In this case, even though it is gay-themed, the film, this is a total crossover film that everyone should take a look at. Really got overlooked last year, and I think it's too bad. This is the story of Pulitzer Prize-winning poet Elizabeth Bishop, played by Miranda Otto here. When she went to Rio de Janeiro and had a love affair with a Brazilian architect named Lota de Macedo Soares, played by Gloria Perez. This is directed by Brazilian director Bruno Barreto, who has had a great career, in Brazil and in the U.S. He directed 4 Days in September, which is, I think that won the Oscar, didn't it? 4 Days in September? It was nominated.
I don't know.
It was a foreign language nominee. I know it may not have won. Anyway, it's a great film. Alan Arkin as the American, based on that kidnapping of the American ambassador. Fantastic movie, that is. Really good. Anyway, Bruno Barreto has done a bunch of other stuff. He's done a couple of dumb comedies as well for studios just to kind of pay his dues. But he's a great director, so sensitive with actors. This all takes place in the 1950s. Really, really good film. Definitely highly recommend it. So check out Reaching for the Moon, the story of Elizabeth Bishop and Lota de Macedo Soares. Good stuff.
Wade, not good stuff is a film called Concussion. This has an interesting premise. It's one of those premises.
I wanted to see this.
You know what? It's one.
I thought this looked kind of cool.
Well, it's one of those premises that is so ridiculous that it had better be making a damn interesting point, or have a damn exciting theme, or must explore something so thoroughly, specifically, and interestingly that I can sit through all the coincidences in the film.
Yeah.
But ultimately, it does not. Robert Weigert plays his suburban wife and mother. She's lesbian. She's married to her partner, Kate.
Right.
And Abby's hit on the head in a playground accident hit on the head with a baseball bat. And she kind of loses her memory and her identity. And so she decides to become a high-priced escort.
She loses her memdentity.
Yes.
And becomes a hooker.
Yes.
Fascinating.
So she's basically a lesbian soccer mom who gets hit on the head, forgets who she is, and decides to become a prostitute.
Sounds like a win. I'd greenlight that in a heartbeat. I would.
Well,
seriously, why not?
Yes.
Okay, I'm down with it.
Again, if you're going to use a conceit like that,
Mm-hmm.
you'd better have a point to make because it's a little crazy.
Wow.
But in the end, it really doesn't.
So the good people at Cohen Media, who, by the way, have some fantastic films coming out. Andy Klein and I have done 3 audio commentaries now for some forthcoming Cohen films. Good stuff. Really good commentaries. Fun stuff. I had a lot of fun doing them. Anyway, they have just released Swerve, starring David Lyons, Emma Booth, and Jason Clarke. Jason Clarke is such an interesting actor to me. Never really paid a lot of attention to him prior to Zero Dark 30, but man, did that movie impress the hell out of me. This is a cool little thriller that really deserves to get a lot more attention. This was made in 2012 and kind of been sitting under the radar since then. It's called Swerve. And it's one of those things. I'm reluctant to always call something Hitchcockian. Like there's a movie out right now with Elijah Wood called Grand Piano, which is very Hitchcockian. Like it's so Hitchcockian.
I passed. You saw it?
I did.
Is it good?
It is good. I mean, it kind of blows it at the end a little bit, as they always do. Like they sort of they paint themselves into a corner. And then to extricate yourself, it's like, oh, all right, so we're going to have, they'll have people chasing each other on rafters and on the roof. It always kind of comes down to that. Like The Fugitive did the same thing. It's like, really? The Fugitive, this cool movie, and it all comes down to a rooftop chase? Are you kidding me? Really? Can't you do something better than that? It always does that. But anyway, no, it's really good. It's basically like Phone Booth, but it's better than Phone Booth.
Phone Booth, you know what? I really wanted to like Phone Booth, but in the end,
Phone Booth was originally conceived for Hitchcock. You know that, right?
Yes, that's right.
Larry Cohen was working on it as a Hitchcock vehicle for Hitchcock, and then Hitchcock died. And, years later it becomes a Joel Schumacher vehicle because if they wait another year, cell phones will have replaced phone booths and there won't be any more. So it was like their last moment.
But that's another film where a phone booth should have been done for $1.98 on some street corner and give it that grit. And nobody is less gritty than Joel Schumacher.
That's true, but I still love Joel Schumacher.
I do love Falling Down.
Anyway, this is about a guy. David Lyons plays a guy who is heading to a job interview across the country and enters into he gets into the middle of a situation, and like as with the most Danny Boyle movies, there's a bag of money involved, and a very dangerous guy played by Jason Clarke who just comes off as being really dangerous, and it's interesting. I mean, the whole thing takes place in Australia, and that doesn't really matter much, but I'll tell you, it's a cool little movie. It's a really cool little movie. Moves like gangbusters. It's out on Blu-ray from Cohen Media. Swerve. Great title. And then also, Mark, I know you're excited about this. The Little Rascals Save the Day. Right?
Rascals.
Right?
Fluff.
It is. Look, the sticker on it says all new movie. That's so that we don't get it confused with the old Little Rascals, you see? Because you look at it and you go, wait, are there still Little Rascals?
I don't know, are there?
Apparently they're all new Little Rascals, and not as in the Penelope Spheris kind. These are even newer than the Penelope Spheris Rascals.
Give me a Blu-ray. Any Blu-ray you have. Just give it to me.
Yeah, here's Swerve.
Huh.
What?
This one looked like shorter and squatter than the other one.
That's because it has the Little Rascals. They're shorter and squatter.
Aw.
Yeah. It's an optical illusion. Look at the pig. Look at the pig.
Rascals.
Look at the pig. It's a little pig. It's not Peppa the Pig.
He's so dumb.
Anyway, you can get Blu-ray DVD Ultraviolet because you've got to watch the new Little Rascals in every conceivable way you possibly can. I'll be honest with you. This is just horrible. I couldn't watch more than 5 minutes. But apparently there's a whole new generation that wants to see a whole new Little Rascals. And some of it is just outright embarrassing. I feel so sorry for Doris Roberts. She can't possibly need the money that badly. I just can't imagine. All right, Mark, it is time for our listener mail, and then we're going to let you unleash on the...
Hang on. I have to start my breathing exercises.
Well, you do that. So, some listener mail first off. No, just listener mail. Just listener mail. Jason Vargo, longtime listener, says, Wade, thanks very much for mentioning Saving Mr. Banks and the Film Week live show. That was our Oscar edition of Film Week. He says, I've seen it twice in the theater. It hit me hard both times. If nothing else, Emma Thompson deserved an Oscar nomination, but the entire movie got hosed. I'm hoping more people get to see the film when it hits home video in a few weeks. And it is out now. We haven't gotten our copy yet. I had to yell at somebody over that. But yes, Saving Mr. Banks was my favorite film of the year, and I can't wait to talk about it on Blu-ray. And then Chevelle Dixon says, I finally watched The Counselor to see what the fuss was about and hated it. The script makes no sense. Too many monologues, and the acting was disappointing all around. Cameron Diaz and Penelope Cruz are the exceptions in that the former was miscast and terrible, and the latter was the best thing about the movie. Ridley Scott needs to pull it together. I hope Exodus does it for him. You hated The Counselor, too.
I did hate The Counselor because, you know what? It's one of those things where I'm sure on the page it read amazing. It's Cormac McCarthy, his first commissioned script, not based on one of his books. Mm-hmm. I'm sure it was amazing to read. I'm sure the actors were just dying to say those words because they're so brilliant, but that doesn't make a movie.
Mm-hmm. Peter Kazoris, rhymes with thesaurus in Toronto, says, quick email on the topic of actors. Or more specifically, actresses lying about their age. Why they do it? What's to gain about claiming to be younger or older? I know for a fact that Lily Sobieski lied about her age so she could get the lead role in the 1999 TV movie Joan of Arc. Apparently, she would only have been 15 years old at the time of production, so her parents lied so she would. They'd think she was 16 as a legal requirement to have a child star in the lead.
That's not true.
Actually, I think that is true. Actually. That's true? Yeah. I came by this anecdote in the late 1990s by a high school teacher who happened to tutor Lily, and she outright told our grade 12 religion class about Lily's industry fib, in addition to how bratty Lily was and how frequently she was in the presence of Lily's shouting outbursts with her parents and brother. Why do actresses lie about their age? Simply because here's the number one reason is because the industry isn't, even now as it's easier for, with Sandra Bullock and actresses in their 40s are doing better and they're more bankable again. The truth is, unless you're a superstar, you're looking for somebody who, if a script says, the character is 32, you're not going to be looking for somebody who's older. You want somebody who's 32. Even if let's say you're 40 but you look 32, they're not even going to consider you, no matter how good you are. So you lie about your age because it gets you more chances to play better parts. It's just the way it works. It's an ugly facet of the business.
Well, that's why you see all these actresses who get plastic surgery.
Yeah,
you're like, God, why do they do that? But you got to understand, these people, especially the actresses, they understand that when they are out and getting their picture taken, everybody is judging them.
That is totally true.
Everybody is judging them on every wrinkle and going on comment boards and message boards and blogs and websites and saying how ugly they look or how old they look. And imagine if you had that pressure.
I know.
Every time you step out the door, there literally are thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people, waiting to pounce on how ugly you are on message boards all around the internet. And you feel like you can do something about that if you go get plastic surgery. Now, of course, most are misguided, and you should just be beautiful or get very simple, subtle plastic surgery. Don't go all Goldie Hawn on us.
Yep.
But that's why they do it.
Ben Thompson says, just got the Region A Kino release of Nosferatu, which had a great documentary with it. Unfortunately, it doesn't come with the 2 commentaries that the Region B release has. Do you know of any services or databases that have official movie commentaries like that to download, since I can't import the other version of the Blu-ray? And I don't know, but I'm going to ask our listeners, post that. This is from Ben Thompson. Post it on the Facebook page if you know of any. By all means, I know there are services out there that enable people to kind of crowdsource that kind of stuff, but otherwise I don't really know. And let's see, we'll just do a couple more here. No. Hold on. No, let's do this one here. This is from Roberto Rodriguez. This is, I have a question regarding the Best Picture category at the Academy Awards. Do animated movies get turned away because of the animation category? Great movies like WALL-E and Up and Toy Story 3 and now Frozen have all done well at the box office, but seem to just get a nod at best. I know science fiction and fantasy are large no's for Best Picture, but could one day an animated film win like 1992's Beauty and the Beast, which, of course, was nominated for Best Picture but did not win? I'll tell you, Mark may disagree. I think having the animation category makes people think twice about nominating an animated film in Best Picture.
I agree.
Yeah. So I think people look and they go, wow, that's a really good film, but well, they have a special category for animation, so we'll just they just relegate it there. They just assume that that's for animation. And if
because normally you would think that with the animation category that those films are sort of ghettoized in a lesser best film category.
Correct. Yeah.
But then again, how many animated films would be nominated without an animated film category? How many animated films would be nominated for Best Picture without that category? Very few. Once every 10 years. Maybe some Pixar thing, or Frozen might have been nominated this year because they did so well.
No, I don't think it would have been. I think Beauty and the Beast was that rare anomaly. I think Beauty and the Beast was a rare phenomenon in so many ways, and I don't see.
That's a beautiful film.
It's an amazing film. It's an incredible film on so many levels, and the songs are just there's not a bad song in that movie. I mean, every single one of them is extraordinary, and there it is. So, but that's part of the brilliance of Howard Ashman, who isn't with us anymore. So it's too bad. Anyway, all right, Mark, Voxbox time.
Can I do the song?
Do the song. The microphone is 8 feet. There you go.
Gentlemen, Mario Mendez here. Happy New Year to you both. My question today is about fear. Do movies actually scare us? Maybe it's a young person's game, but I find that I could watch a movie now that's supposed to be scary, and it absolutely leaves me cold. And so my question is it a matter of getting older and not being scared of movies anymore? Are there any movies that scare you, current ones, or within the past 5 years or so? Because I'm sure there's probably movies in the past that probably still scare you. Or in the advent of things like Columbine and Newtown, we've experienced much scarier things in real life than what movies can offer. Although, I mean, I'll be honest, Gaspar Noé, I don't know what the hell's going on with that guy. It's unsettling more than it is scary. Or the Creme Master cycle, I don't even know what that is. Anyway, the bottom line is, can movies genuinely scare, or are we using the words fear and scare to substitute for what they really are, which is maybe thrilling and suspenseful? And then as a sidebar, Wade, you being the Francophile, how do you spell the word zhuzh? And can you give me a definition for it? And Mark, I've noticed that when you describe women that you find attractive, you're giving them culinary terms. So Jennifer Love Hewitt is delicious, and Mila Kunis is yummy. And while true, is it all about food, Mark? Does it always have to be about food? You've become a digi-chef. Take care.
Thank you, Mario. That's Mario Mendez, whose brother Mike Mendez, of course, did the Spider movie.
That's right.
Yep.
Which we talked up big time a couple weeks ago.
Big ass spider. Gotta love it. Mark, what is it with you and food and women?
Huh? I love food. What can I tell you?
Okay.
I would eat 24 hours a day if I could.
Okay. That answers that question. So, all right.
And I guess you could say some people would compare women to works of art.
Yes.
Oh, you're a beautiful painting. You're a Renaissance.
Or to flowers.
Or flowers. Me, food.
So shall I?
You're sweet. You're sweet.
Shall I compare thee to a she's Danish? Or something.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It's so beautiful.
All right. Well, that answers that question. Now the French word.
That question to nobody's satisfaction.
The French word, Mario, juge. Are you talking about judge, like Juge? Email us at gods@digigods.com. Let me know if we're what word we're in the we're dealing with. I'm not sure that I understood that correctly. As for the subject of fear, it's a really interesting question, and I
don't think real life fear, to me, doesn't impede my ability to be scared in a movie.
But I will say this: I do think he's onto something, because the last time I was genuinely scared in a movie, and there are some movies like Oculus, which is coming up pretty soon. Which
is it good?
It's fine. Or like just last year, why am I forgetting the title of it?
Star Wars?
No, with
Star Wars?
No. With the couple, and they look
Paranormal Activity.
No, they're
Star Wars.
They're the ghost hunters, and then there's the house, and
I don't know. I don't watch that crap.
Oh,
I really don't. No, don't stop the recording. Don't stop the recording.
I'm not going to stop the recording. Anyway, that has some scary stuff. But the thing is, I think most movies that scare us right now are scaring us because they're trafficking in things that we've seen before in movies. The things that used to scare me, I don't see so much in movies anymore. And I think a lot of that has to do with just getting jaded and overly sophisticated. And I think people are now way too attuned to all of the tricks that the movies use to scare us. I think we're just too hip to it because the movies give you two emotional reactions. There are either there are visceral reactions or there are more genuine emotional reactions. And visceral reactions, you don't actually have to get me to care. You just have to freak me out, and that can be suspense, that can be exhilaration, it can be fear. Those are the primal emotions. The higher emotions, where you have to get someone to actually care, that's where the acting kicks in. And you can't just do that with, shock edits and loud boom noises and all of the things that sort of scare us in a primal sense where it's survival, We have survival instincts. And fear plays on our survival instincts. It's a lower frame of emotion. The higher emotions will always be exploited by drama. I mean, because it just requires a greater degree of skill. But fear... Once we realize, loud noises make people jump, then you're looking for the loud noises in a movie, or you're looking for the shock cuts. And I think everyone is so sophisticated now, and they're so hip to it, and we've all seen so many of these movies over and over and over. And I think we just got inundated with Friday the 13th and Halloween and Nightmare on Elm Street. And, horror films became such a staple throughout the 80s and 90s. That it's just we're jaded now, and I until somebody comes up with something like the J horror films for that moment, The Ring and The Grudge and those things.
Well, it's what it is. It's the building of suspense.
Yeah,
you don't get that a lot nowadays.
You really don't. It's true. So I don't know. I think he's onto something. I mean, it remains to be seen whether or not that pans out, but there it is. So thank you, Mario. Really good question. Mark, let's dive into some. Speaking of fear, let's talk about some silly things, like Slumber Party Massacre, which is now on Blu-ray, courtesy of the Scream Factory line of Shout Factory, and this is honest to goodness, really great 1980s trash. This is from 1982. And it's about a slumber party massacre. I'm sorry, that's all it really is. There's a psycho guy with a power drill who just makes the slumber party a very unfortunate event. It's silly, it's stupid, it's not very scary, but it's a shockingly good transfer, better than the movie really requires. And one of the last great kind of silly gore films of the 80s before things took a real serious turn. So that is out, and it has tons of special features and audio commentary with the director, Amy Holden-Jones, and a couple of the actors. And it's kind of a lot of fun if you like that sort of thing. And then Iron Sky, which we've talked about before, is out in a Steelbox director's cut. And Iron Sky is a ridiculous movie. Mark talked about how ridiculous it was, but it has a fan following for some crazy reason. And you get a 90-minute documentary on this thing, a 32-page concept art book, and... this is one of those just really, really bizarre movies that just keeps on trucking and keeps on with a following, even though it never had a theatrical release. Iron Sky in a director's cut, Blu-ray DVD combo set. I'll tell you, it is a very, very strange phenomenon, this movie.
Wade, you never know what movie's going to become a cult film. I always get annoyed when films want to become a cult film.
Yes.
You can't really kind of
wish your way
into a cult film stardom. However, when it comes to a cult film,
yes.
Let me tell you something, Wade. There's a movie, Wade.
Yeah.
It's called Horror at 37,000 Feet. It's from 1973.
I know,
and this stars, and get ready for this cast.
It's you know why I remember this movie? I remember it because I thought, are they just trying to riff off of the Twilight Zone episode with
No, don't
Don't
say who's in it.
All right.
I'll tell you something.
Go ahead.
Now, we shouldn't really make fun because there's the Malaysian flight is still out there or not out there somewhere as we record this. But let's just say that this stars Buddy Ebsen as a millionaire. Mm-hmm. This is Chuck Connors plays the pilot.
Yep.
And as the drunken, cynical priest, William Shatner. All on a flight from London to L.A.
So fantastic.
Shatner, Ebsen, Connors together.
The Shat. He is the man.
By the way, another Star Trek connection here.
Yeah.
Paul Winfield's in this.
Oh, yeah. That's
Star Trek
right.
2.
Yeah, very good. That's
Yeah.
lovely.
Wade, there's a box set of Nicholas Sparks films. Now, this is the one to get. If they were smart, they would have come out with this on Valentine's Day.
They did. They just got it to us.
No, then forget it. Kidding me? Nicholas Sparks is, of course, the king of the drippy romance, and 7 of his films, including The Notebook, of course, because nobody would buy this if it didn't include The Notebook. Mm-hmm. We have Safe Haven, The Lucky One, Dear John, Nights in Rodanthe, The Notebook, A Walk to Remember, and Message in a Bottle.
Yeah.
Of all of these, I would watch. Actually, of all these, I'd probably just read the back of the box for 2 hours. That's what I would do. Ooh.
Yeah.
People love The Notebook.
Bunch of things I'm going to blow through here real quickly. A couple from the Warner Archive collection. James Cagney and the Oklahoma Kid, also with Humphrey Bogart. One of those westerns that just it's all shot on a back lot, and it's not a very good western by any means. But you know what? It's kind of got a weird, nostalgic, workman-like studio quality to it. You watch it and you're like, my gosh, they just cranked these things out back then, didn't they? Yeah, they did. They really did. It's not that good. Everybody's kind of going through the motions and phoning it in, but it's classic old studio stuff. The 1936 Showboat is out on DVD as well from Warner Archive. And this was, Jerome Kern's music and the lyrics by Oscar Hammerstein II, directed by James Whale, of all people. The James Whale who, of course, did, Frankenstein and Bride of Frankenstein and many other great movies. Unusual pairing of a director and material, to be sure. But he does a great job, and this is perfectly adequate material. It's a lot of fun to watch, and I have actually seen Showboat performed live. I saw a version with Ned Beatty, believe it or not, that was performed at the Schubert Theater before they tore it down and replaced it with the CAA Death Star, which was just a horrible thing. I'm still bitter about that. But it is, it's one of the all-time great American musicals, and even in this 1936 production, it still works, man. It's an old movie. And it dates a little bit, but it's still a lot of fun to watch. The music is great. The performances are fantastic. Helen Morgan as Julie is just incomparable. And I'll tell you, you have not heard Old Man River sung the way Paul Robeson, man, kills it in this movie. He kills it. It's just unbelievable.
You kidding me? That guy's voice?
Unbelievable. Paul Robeson is just no one like him. Mark, do you remember Boiler Room?
Yeah, I liked it.
You realize that's basically based on a lot of the same material as The Wolf of Wall Street, right?
I liked Wolf of Wall Street better.
Okay. I'm not sure that I would agree with that. But anyway, fully aware of that now, they have re-released Boiler Room on Blu-ray for the first time. It's been on DVD forever. But Boiler Room is out on Blu-ray now.
Wait, so you like Boiler Room better than Wolf of Wall Street?
I'm not sure I like either of them. Giovanni Ribisi is about the only thing that I like in this. I think he's very, very good. Vin Diesel is just, he's too young, and it's kind of weird. But Ben Younger, has he done anything as a filmmaker since this movie? This was it, right? This was his shot. He took his shot, and he's man.
He's no J.C. Chandor was the guy who did a film similar, right, with Margin Call, and he winds up doing a great second film, and now this guy's going to have a career.
Gosh, man, this town is so cruel. It is it'll eat you alive, man. Anyway, there's a commentary by Ben Younger on this thing, which is really good. The guy, I mean, look, even though I don't particularly care for the film, he should get another shot. I mean, it's well done. It just didn't quite work for me, but it doesn't mean it's not a well-made film. Anyway, so there it is, Boiler Room. Vin Diesel, Giovanni Ribisi, also starring Neil Long and Nicky Katt. What happened to him?
William Katt from Greatest American Hero?
No, Nicky Katt. Remember in Full Frontal, he did that weird little Hitler deal?
I have not seen that film in so long.
Well, he's
How
the
would you
best
even
thing
remember that? That was like some Soderbergh movie from 1997 or something.
Yeah, well, whatever it is. Gotham City serials. These are the Batman and Batman Robin serials from 1943 and 1949, 15 chapters apiece. If you've never seen these serials, they're terrible. They're they're just really bad. But it's the oldest Batman stuff in existence, and this is a 2-disc set that has all these cheesy old Columbia serials, and it's from Mill Creek. And if you're a Batman completist, you'll love it. But it's really cheesy stuff. And then before I let Mark wrap out on the old stuff here, I've got the Puppetoon movie, which is wonderful. If you are a fan of George Powell, You will just absolutely love this. George Pal did a bunch of stop-motion animated shorts in the 30s and 40s, which were called Puppetoons, and they are amazing. And this has got all of them, including a lot of stuff that's never been released before. This is on Blu-ray, and it is just absolutely delightful. Fans of George Pal, fans of Puppetoons, fans of animation of all kinds will go absolutely berserk for this. Wonderful, a lot of interview footage with people, paying homage, like Gene Roddenberry and Ray Harryhausen and Roy Disney and Ray Bradbury. It's really, really great. And then you get a lot of the stuff on here is standard definition, and a lot of it is high definition, so it varies, but it all looks good. It's all absolutely superb. And you even get the wonderful documentary film, The Fantasy Film Worlds of George Pal, on here, which is in standard definition, and an audio commentary by Arnold Libovit and Jerry Beck, who basically put this together. So it is just, this is just an absolute treasure, wonderful treasure. And, you just can't beat this. If you've never seen a Puppetoon, you totally don't know what you're missing. It is wonderful stuff, and it's amazing how it hasn't gotten more traction over the years than it has. So, fantastic stuff.
Mysterious Skin is with Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Yeah, a young Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Well, this is 2004. It's from Greg Araki. And
there's a guy who's also kind of vanished.
I know. Well, he did Doom Generation and totally effed up.
He's just too rebellious. He's too like screw you, man. I'm the rebel, and that doesn't play on. At a certain point, you got to kind of play ball with the system.
And he did not.
Yeah.
And he's becoming Kevin Smith.
Isn't Elizabeth Shue in this thing too?
Indeed, she is.
Yeah.
And this is a good movie. I like this movie. This is an interesting little coming out for Gordon Levitt, because now he's like the hottest guy now.
I know.
He's really interesting choices and interesting actor. This thing is pretty harrowing, and it's thoughtful, and it's a little bit troubling, and it's terrific. Joseph Gordon-Levitt's great in it. It's about these Kansas youngsters who they all play on the same Little League baseball team, and then 10 years later, the two of the main kids, they couldn't be more different. One is, very charismatic, and the other one is kind of like this introvert. And, it's really good. Really interesting stuff. It's pretty heartbreaking. It's thing is that if Araki would have given us more films like this, that you feel there's a lot of emotional truth there, I really feel he could have kind of grown up to do real adult dramas that would actually really kind of touch you.
Yep.
But I just feel like Wade says, he just wants to do his own crazy thing. And so I think Mysterious Skin is about the best we got from Greg Araki, because he's done nothing of interest, as far as I'm concerned, since. So there you go, Mysterious Skin. Check it out.
Totally cool. All right, and then to wrap out the show, let me get some foreign films in here. We got 3 great foreign language films this week. I'm going to start off by making a high recommendation for The Patience Stone by filmmaker Atiq Rahimi. This was released theatrically, very, very limited by Sony Pictures Classics. It was a bigger deal at a few festivals, including the Toronto Film Festival. The idea here is it's a very simple story about a woman whose husband is in a coma because he was shot. And his role in her life, because he's an older husband, she's a younger wife, and it's not exactly the most happy marriage, is analogized to a story about a patience stone, which is kind of a sort of a fairy tale myth, parable in ancient Persian mythology. And much of the movie is really just the woman speaking kind of in a soliloquy to and about her husband, about their marriage and so forth. And the reason you want to see this is because the lead performance by the actress Golshifteh Farahani, who is an extraordinary Iranian actress who lives in Paris now because there's like a fatwa on her because she did some nude photographs and that's like gotten her condemned or something. But she also did she's done quite a few things. She won Best Actress for another film at the Berlin Film Festival at one point. She is amazing. Golshifteh Farahani is just an absolutely miraculous actress, one of the best in the world, and she is a revelation in this thing. You've got to see it just for her performance. So that is The Patience Stone by Atiq Rahimi. And then, wrapping out our foreign language coverage this week, a couple of Criterion Collection releases that are pretty great. The second one is not a foreign language film, but this first one is, and that leads us into the second one. The Hidden Fortress, the Akira Kurosawa film that is widely considered one of the great inspirations of Star Wars, because it's got the two samurais that essentially inspired R2-D2 and C-3PO, and then the Hidden Fortress is like the Death Star, and there's a whole thing. And anyone who watches this, you just go, it's Star Wars. George Lucas just ripped it off, you jerk. 1958, fantastic film, really great. Toshiro Mifune is wonderful as always, and this is just one of those great Kurosawa films. It's just a great Kurosawa film from the Japanese New Wave period, kind of the early New Wave period. And fantastic restoration here. Wonderful, wonderful Blu-ray soundtrack. Just amazingly sharp soundtrack. Really perfectly mastered. And what you also get is a great Stephen Prince audio commentary, which he every time he does something for Criterion, it's fantastic. And then a 2003 documentary on the film that was part of the Toho Masterworks series. And there's even an interview with George Lucas about Kurosawa.
But that's okay. You know what? Lucas does not hide that fact.
I know he doesn't.
That's all right. If he look, everybody steals from everybody.
I know. It's true. It's just I like to rip on Lucas anytime I can. So anyway, that's
and his goiter.
So that's a dual edition DVD and Blu-ray set for the Hidden Fortress. And then lastly, also from Criterion this week, is Brief History of Time, the Errol Morris documentary, which I have always been a little bit mixed on. If you're a Criterion completist, you're going to want to get this. But there was recently that documentary Hawking, all about Stephen Hawking. I think this is the better one about Stephen Hawking and his theories. Although I watched this again and I'm like, I don't know. I mean, it's cool and mind blowing and all, and I love all the biographical stuff, the story of Hawking's life and all that. But at a certain point, all this kind of slow motion, weird time travel-y stuff. I just felt like Morris was just kind of playing with the camera a little too much.
Have you been watching Cosmos?
The new Cosmos, I'm such a fan of the original Cosmos. I'm finding it very hard to sort of let go of the Carl Sagan-ness.
Well, I watched a little bit of it.
Yeah,
and it's good.
No, I know it's good. I'm sure it is.
I mean, it's serious.
What's his face? The guy who's hosting it is a fantastic astrophysicist. I mean, he's wonderful. I'm sure it's great. But I saw the original. I watched it religiously, and I can't. Here's the thing. I can't imagine jumping onto the ship of the imagination and flying through the cosmos to anything other than Vangelis. I'm sorry. There it is. That's it.
And by the way, the EP is Seth MacFarlane.
I know.
Can you handle that?
No. I just unless there's Vangelis music taking me through the universe, I'm just going to be really upset. So anyway, a lot of great special features on here, tons, including a new interview with Errol Morris, and just tons of great stuff. So I mean, Brief History of Time. If you're a fan, definitely get it. Also, dual format edition, Blu-ray and DVD. There it is.
Okay,
right, that's it. Hit us, godsdigigods.com with your emails and your Vox boxes. We need more Vox boxes. Come on, send them in. Yep, that's it. That's
Vox
it.
Box.
And for the contest, send us an email to with angels in the subject line and your address. By all means, put your address in the body of the email and get it to us by the 22nd. And we will pick a winner, and 3 very lucky people will be fortunate enough to get that free DVD. So we will be back next week. See you.